Sorry, I just remembered I need to video this. Since we have a student. Okay. Now we're on candid camera. You guys probably don't even know what candid camera is. Candid camera? You ever heard of that TV show? Candid camera? Yeah, it was years ago, probably before you were born.
That sounds really cool.
Where they do funny things or they trick people or
One of my favorite shows like that is Silent Library.
Yes.
That's a funny
That
show.
show's classic.
What?
People like get let someone put a tattoo on them. And it's like really weird.
Man, what are you talking about?
I saw that TikTok.
No thanks, I'm fine.
What are we doing in class today?
All right, so let's go ahead. Can we open up our sightseeing books, please, to page 203. 203. Yep.
Are we going to start the bag on Tuesday?
Yes, that was another thing I was going to mention. Thank you. I don't have the bag today, but I am bringing it next week. So you know what that means. I'll draw. I think I can get away with just drawing 2 names per class this semester. So 2 people will be drawn every time now for a melody to sing for their quiz grade. All right, on page 203, I would like to have one of the rhythms that was assigned for today was 13. Oh, you know, 13.3 through 13.5. Those were some of the ones that were assigned for today. I have in my notes to try something different. I was wondering if 2 people would like to volunteer and do one of these rhythms together. Just, I mean, it's not for grade, nothing like that, just to see if you can carry it through, to see if you can do it, rather than me calling on one person individually. Okay? So, for instance, 13.3, should I get 2 volunteers, or should I just pick 2 people? Maybe I'll just pick 2 people.
I can do it.
Okay? So, Kieran, how about you and Riley? You're going to perform 13.3.
Yeah. That's exciting. I didn't volunteer. Okay.
Don't worry. It's not for a grade. It's just to make sure that you're getting this. Okay, so let's see. You start on the and of beat 2, right? So I'll get you started. How about I give you a full measure plus almost a full second measure? Okay. How about a tempo like this, you guys? How about 1, 2, 1, go. Good job. Really nice. Okay, 13.4. Let's take Kylie and Dusty. Okay. 13.4. I'll get you started. Can I give you 2 beats and you come in on beat 3? Okay. How about this tempo, guys? 1, 2.
3, 1, 2.
Hold up the 2, 2.
3, 1.
Yes. Okay. All right. Next 2 are going to be Lane and Preston. You're going to get 13.5, guys. And it looks like you start right on the downbeat. So I'm going to give you I'll just do a full measure and then you start in. Okay, here we go. How about a tempo of 1, 2, go. Hey, nice job. Did I hear marimba? Well, you guys, I heard someone clunk. You didn't hear that? What they were doing? Maybe I'm just making it up. I thought somebody hit some note out there in the hallway. I guess next are you 2. Yeah. Okay, Hannah and Sydney, we're going to go back to 13.3. Okay, I'll give you almost 2 full measures. Here we go. Tempo 1, 2, 1, go. all the ants in it? All right, and then finally Bailey and Colson, can you do 13-4? And I'll give you 2 beats, you come in on beat 3. Here we go, ready? 1, 2. Yes, okay, there we go. Yeah, boy, that 13-4, that's a real humdinger, right? I mean, you have to hold some of those really long. Unless you go super fast tempo, and then, you might not have to hold it quite as long. All right, so I just want to make sure that you're getting the idea of the syncopation. It sounds like, for the most part, everybody is. Now, before I leave rhythm, there are a couple things I want to do. I want to look at one rhythm that's assigned for next class, and then I want to show you on Canvas that I've got your first rhythm quiz set up. Do some of you already know that?
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it? Okay.
Because I thought it was due for class today. I'm like, oh, we have an in-class quiz. Yeah, that's why I was kind of scared because I saw it and I didn't check the due date. I just saw that it was a new assignment, so I'm like, uh-oh, in-class quiz.
No, it's not due till the end of the unit, the rhythm quiz. Okay, can you turn to page 204? One of the rhythms assigned for next class is 13-12. This is one of my favorites. This is one I picked quite a bit, like on tests and things like that. All right, so we're in 3/8 meter. You know the 8th note is the beat, the 16th note is the division of the beat, and there's some real hunky-dory syncopation going on here. So, and it's 2 lines long, so don't forget that. We're going to do the best we can sight reading it. And I won't take it fast. We'll probably be able to have time to do it a couple of times actually, so we can reinforce it. All right, let's start from the beginning. It starts on the downbeat. Let's see if we can sight read it as accurately as we can. How about a tempo of 1, 2, go. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, and 1, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 3, and 3, and 2, and 1. Whew. One thing I like about this rhythm is that in the first line, do you see how measures 2 and 3 sound identical, even though they're notated a little different? And then the next pair of measures 4 and 5, sound identical, even though they're notated just a little bit differently. One uses ties, one does not. So I kind of like that. You get a little reinforcement. Did I do that rhythm right in that measure? The very next one, yep, it sounds the same. Yeah, so, okay, good. Can we go through it one more time, please? Should we pick up the tempo a smidge? Yeah. All right. Give you a full measure. Here we go. How about a tempo of 1, 2, go. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, and 1, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 3, and 3, and 2, and 1. Yes. All right. Excellent. Now, I'm going to be true to what I said, and I'm going to show you the assignments page here, and show you the rhythm quiz. So, you can see when you get into assignments in this class, there's one sight singing quiz listed. It's called Rhythm Quiz 1. Please note that it's due February 9th. It's not due today. And it's not due until midnight on February 9th. Yeah, because you weren't going to start it until 11:30, right? Okay, so what you do is you just click on the assignment, the rhythm quiz, and there's everybody's name. I've assigned one of the rhythms that we're going to cover this unit. I've given, some of them I divvied up 2 or 3 times because I wanted everyone to have at least a fair chunk. You know, I didn't want to give you one of these like 3 measure rhythms that you can do in 3 seconds. That was no good. So, yeah, if you can't see that, let me, Sydney, I gave you rhythm 13, 12. Look at that, we just did it. Kiernan, I gave you 13-6, but just the last 3 lines.
Okay.
Just the last 3 lines. Dusty, I gave you 13-26. And we're gonna, that's in compound meter. We'll get to syncopation in compound meter probably next class. Kylie, I gave you 13-12. Riley, I gave you 13-24. Lane, 13-23. Come on, go. Daniel. Daniel's not here. 13-24. Haley, I gave you 13-6 again, the last 3 lines. Preston, 13-12. Hannah, 13-26. And Colson, 13-23. So again, you may not have to write it down if you forget. It's always going to be in here. You can check on Canvas which one was I assigned to my quiz. And you guys are veterans. I had to explain this at length to my Aural Skills 2 class last hour. But you know, practice your assigned rhythm, the videotape yourself performing the rhythm, and then submit it to me using the submit assignment button. As long as you get that to me before February 9th by midnight, you're good. And the reason I do this is because last semester, you know, we were 2 weeks shy, and I had to somehow get more class time, so I couldn't quiz you in class on rhythms, so that's kind of why I do that now. Yes? Yes, yes, right. If you have trouble submitting it and it's not letting you do it, send me an email or send me a link to a YouTube video or whatever you have, that would be fine. Okay. Oh yeah, so I had some student last class, one of my freshmen, and he said, you mean we could like do this evening and we could send it in to you? And I'm like, yeah, you could. That's good thinking, you know. I was like, oh, more power to you. All right, can we go now in our sightseeing book back to page 97? For some reason I thought I wanted to hear you guys sing one that I had assigned, but I don't have that in my notes, so. All right, I guess we're just going to take a look at one that's assigned for next class. On the top of page 97, can we look at 646? 646, who can tell me the key? Okay, F sharp minor, and which scale should we sing to warm up? That's correct. Yeah. F sharp harmonic minor. That's the one with lowered 6 lay, but raised 7 T, both up and down. It has the big gap in between scale degrees 6 and 7. It's a step and a half. All right, so we're going to sing an F sharp harmonic minor scale, and we're going to do our best sight reading this. I'm going to have to have you guys bring a pitch pipe or something, so I don't have to come all the way. Give me an F sharp minor. Sing a low scale today. Here we go. All right, here we go. What's the first syllable? Yeah, sol. Any sol will do, whatever octave range you want to sing it in. And this is hand signs, it looks like. Oh, 5-pound meter. Okay, so we have to tap 3 times again for every beat. How about I give us just about a full measure, but not quite. We'll come in on the Lee of beat 2. Okay, 1, lolly, 2. So, do, re, do, si, do. So, re, so, fa, so. So, re, so, fa, so. So, do, re, fa, so. Trying to think if there's anything I should say about that. You know, one thing you could do, just for funsies, I mean, this isn't required, but if you look at the last 2 measures of the first line, you see how, well, you could do one of, because it's repetition, sol, re, sol, fa, sol. You could do different dynamics, like you could sing the first one, sol, re, sol, fa, sol. Wouldn't that be neat? Just the dynamic. Just for fun. Okay, a couple other things I want to point out. We're not going to sing these, but I have these parts circled. It's just easier to tell you. 649, the melody. That's one of the ones assigned for next time. If you want, you don't have to, but I have the second to last measure circled because I find that that's the trickiest one. Second to last measure, of 649. I have that measure circled because it's tricky. I think it's a little tricky. It's not like impossible, you'll get it, but I just don't want it to throw you and say, whoa. The other thing in 648, I have the last measure, no, I won't say this one. The last note of measure 5 and the first note of measure 6 circled because I find that lead is tricky. So in 648, if you want to, I have the last note of measure 5, that E, and the next note of measure 6, the B. I have those 2 circled. Because that's jumping from sol up to re. Sol in that key, sol up to re. So you might want to just watch out for that. And one of the reasons I point this out is because 2 people probably get drawn on Tuesday. So, and I don't know which melodies, which of these assigned melodies I'm going to give. So, okay. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All right, then I think what we'll do is, because we're about halfway through, I'd like to switch gears and go to ear training so we got plenty of time for the real music, 2 real music examples today. So if you'll take, you can put this book away, if you'll take out a piece of scratch paper, it doesn't have to be music paper, just a regular piece of paper will do.
Yeah.
I want to do a quick review about special bass note progression that we talked about last class, and then I want to give you one new one. And then we'll listen to the real musical example. Okay, I don't really have a lot of space here. Let's just do it in the middle. Let's say you have the bass line that goes do, re, mi. What are the 3 Roman numerals? Go ahead. Okay, 1. You can keep going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's, oh, she's is it 542 or 543?
Yes, 543.
And then there's 1 6.
That's right, 1 6. Good. It cannot be 1 2 1 6. I remember years ago when I used to teach at a school in Florida, I would preach this over and over again, and then it come test time, and somebody would write 1 2 and 6, and a couple more gray hairs would sprout. Yeah.
Hey, this is a really random question. But so you taught in Florida.
Yeah.
So did you ever have any students that were like the stereotypical Florida person that just like a lot of crazy stuff? Did you ever have a student who did something really outrageous?
Well, yeah, there were some, I guess you could say, stranger type students. There's some.
Do you have any like, do you have like a memory that pops into your head?
Well, I'd have to think, but I have to think. I don't have any off the top of my
Can
head.
I be your for Tuesday?
Can I be mine? What to think of strange students I taught in Florida?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I could probably, I could bring, I think I could bring something. I wrote, there was one student I wrote, yeah, I just, never mind. I better not. Okay, what about if the bass notes are mi, re, do? What are Roman numerals?
Just
Okay, but am I still in minor? I'm in major, right? Mi, re, do. So check, make sure it's me versus me. That'll tell you if you're in major or minor. All right, the new thing I want to tell you is this. What if you have the bass line, a bass line that goes like this? Sol, fa, mi. Based on the chords now that we have over there, and you can look at the top chart because this is in major, what makes the most logical sense for Roman numeral progression with these bass notes, taking into account we know about predominance and dominance and things like that? Yes?
Is it 1 6 4 5 4 2 to 1 6?
Okay, really close. I would just change one chord. Usually 90+% of the time 1 6 4 goes to root position 5 or 5 7. So what could I put instead of 1 6 4 for the sol?
Just a root position 5.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe 5 7, doesn't matter. But sol fa mi from now on, I want you to get in the habit of thinking it means 5 5 4 2 1 6. And the reason I point that out is because so many students have a tendency to do something egregious, terrible, like this. 5 going to pre-dominant. Ooh, I can't even gag myself with a spoon because I got a mask on. I mean, it's so bad. So you definitely don't want to do that. And you definitely don't want to do this either. That's just as bad. I know it looks like, oh, 5 4 5. But it doesn't make harmonic progression sense. What best makes sense is that if you're on a dominant function here, and then you hear fa, you're still on dominant function, but now we have fa in the dominant chord, it's just in the bass. So 5 5 4 2. And we know that 5 4 2 goes to 1 6. Okay? I will also say this, although this is not across the board. If you have the bass notes just fa to mi, it could be 4 to 1 6. Probably not likely 2 6 to 1 6. Perhaps most likely though, fa to mi is now maybe the majority of the time, over 50% of the time, this. I'm not saying it's always, because you can have the progression 4 go to 1 6. That's common. But this is very likely. This is very likely. So I want you to, again, when fa goes to mi, especially when sol goes to fa goes to mi, I want you to start thinking functionally. Dominant, dominant, tonic, that kind of thing. Never dominant to predominant, that kind of thing. And if you think along those lines, you'll have much better success at choosing the right Roman numeral for the progression than something that makes absolutely no sense at all. Okay? Okay, any questions about that? Very good. Then on your piece of scratch paper, let me start you off with an example that has 7 chords to identify. And we're just going to do Roman numerals today. And let's see, I think the key for this one is the key of D major. And there's 7 chords. Let me do a sound check first. Okay, that's a pretty good sound level. So listen to the bass as we normally do and see if you can fill in. I'm not telling you otherwise. See if you can fill in the 7 chords for this passage. The progression doesn't start in, I mean, there's a few solo notes in the high register. Just wait till the bass comes in, and that's where the first chord is. And the last chord has a few non-chord tones kind of sneaking into it.
Yeah, I was just, that was really
Don't worry about the non-chord tones. I'll see if I can point to this. I actually think the bass line, if you can pick it out, is pretty straightforward. Okay, here we go. This is from a Beethoven string quartet. Have you?
I don't think so. It has these
No, it doesn't.
I don't think it's
I don't think we've ever had something that crunchy yet.
Yeah, we would remember that.
Well, you know, sometimes these chord progressions, I hope the style is just getting so ingrained in your mind that it's like, oh yeah, I heard this. I've heard these chords in this succession before. It makes sense. Okay, let's hear it again from the beginning. You still need me to point? Yeah. What doesn't do that?
But you don't hear the result.
You kind of
You
do.
like barely do. It doesn't satisfy me.
Can't get no satisfaction. Okay, I'm going to play this one more time, and then we can look at the answer. Kind of almost not to the very last moment, and then it kind of lingers. Okay, I'm going to put down the bass note syllables first, because I think this is pretty straightforward. We just have an ascending scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, do. And yet Beethoven makes it sound like a professional piece. Okay, so what are the Roman numerals now? Now be careful. I know it starts on 1. The The next cord is worth a bajillion points.
4, 3.
Yes, 5, 4, 3, bajillion. It's not 2. And the next chord must be then, yeah, remember? Do, re, mi equals 1, 2, 5, 4, 3, and 6. This one I think was probably the hardest. You get your choice between 4, 2, 6 and 5, 4, 2. Does 5, 4, 2 make any sense at all? No, because if it's 5, 4, 2, fa would have to go down to mi. So that's out. So it's either got to be a 4 or a 2, 6, and they're really, really close. It was actually this one. Couple sols in a row. What do you think? Good. 1, 6, 4, 5, 1, with a few crunchy backward. Okay, let's listen to it now one more time since we have all the chords in place. I usually like to start people out on that one when we're doing 5/7 inversions because I think it's kind of clear. All right, the next one, the second one that I have is, let's see, it's going to be, oh, it's also in a major key, but this one has nine chords to identify. We're going to go up a half step to the key of E flat major. And I'm not telling you otherwise. This is also from a Beethoven string quartet, but this one's slower. This one is definitely slower. Maybe just, get it out in the open. What's the most likely chord? If some passage doesn't end on one, what's the second most likely chord? Well, 5 chords. For half kids, that's fine. Are you able to pick out where the chords are for the bass? Let's go back in here again. That I'm most interested in.
Yeah,
I want to see what you guys have. Another here. you second guessing yourself?
Yeah.
You think one more here? Let's try once more then.
Was that second one technically a 1/7? Did I hear like something? I wasn't sure if it was 2.
I believe it's still a,
It sounded like a voice to me somewhere.
yeah, no, I'm looking at the music and it's just a straight one chord. Maybe the old recording or from the record, whatever that was on, maybe it gives a little kind of a distortion, I don't know, distortion, but. Okay, so the first 2 chords are 1, then it went to T. Now, I would accept 5, 6, or 5, 6, 5. Those would get full credit. T is definitely a strong tendency tone. I hope you can hear that tendency in the bass. Now, T normally likes to just go up to Do, but it doesn't go up to Do. It actually goes to another tone in a chord that's very closely related to this, if not similar. Does anyone know what bass note it went to?
Is it a Fa?
Yeah. Somebody said it's Fa. So we got Do, Do, Ti, Fa. T and Fa, 2 strong tendency tones. In fact, T and Fa both occur in the 5/7 chord. So, would it make sense, because you're coming from a 5, would it make sense to go to a 4 or a 2/6? No, so what's the most likely chord for that Fa? Now you're thinking, yeah. See, now you're thinking functionally, now you're listening and hearing musically. That's exactly right. It's a 5/4/2. If you had a 5/6/5, that's fine. It's just going between 2 different inversions. And when I play this again after we're done, you'll hear, I hope you hear that that Fa has such a strong tendency to come down. It's got to come down. And it does. It comes down to me, which makes sense for 1/6. Okay. Then it took a leap. The bass went back to T. I don't know if you caught that. So we can have the 5/6 or the 5/6/5 again. And then it finally went to Do, which is 1. Now this next chord, I think is, this is very, if you got this, I'm most proud of that. I really am. This went down to Fa, and I think this is I don't want to say a crapshoot, but I don't know what else to say. It's not a 5/4/2. It's one of these predominants. And so, again, I would accept probably either 4 or 2/6 here. Technically, it was that one. And then we ended on Sol with the half cadence that we talked about. Okay, now let me play this again. And I especially want you to hear the strong hold of the T and the bass and the Fa. The T and the Fa. And how it makes sense to be a 5/6/5 followed by a 5/4/2. We'll Just to hear that same kind of chord progression with a different set of instruments. Here we have the 5-6-5. This is the bass, but then it goes to another inversion. So we have. You've heard that before, and that screams it wants to go to this. Yeah, see, when I first, and later this unit, I'm going to be teaching my Theory 2 students how to part write a 5-7 chord. And so they're going to hear for the first time how the 7th of the chord has to come down. And when the many students first learn that, they don't really understand how serious and how impactful and the gravity of how much strong pull that thought in the 5-7 chord needs to come in. But when I hear things like this, it's like totally proves it. Totally proves it. So how did you do on this one? I think this was pretty challenging. Look at those chords. Are you identifying that just by ear? Okay, we're 4 minutes early, but I'm okay to stop here if you're okay to stop here.
Of course.
All right. Yep. I have to look to see the date. If they were like really late in his life, then maybe not. But if they were earlier in his life, then
Did you get that?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I thought it was dope. That's way too highly dope.
Yeah. Well, after the first hearing, I was like, did it go to Ray? And I heard,
Yeah.
but I bet people think of it.
Yeah, I'm like, I knew it was either Ray or I was like, that's too much.